It was a quiet night in the Nevada desert. The stars above were bright, the air dry and still. At a small military base far from the cities, everything seemed normal, until the alarms started. Radar picked up something fast, something big. It wasn't a missile. It wasn't a plane. And it wasn't one of ours. Within seconds, the entire base was on high alert. Soldiers ran to their stations. Officers shouted commands. Pilots waited by their jets, engines ready. But then, the object slowed down. It didn't crash. It didn't attack. It simply floated in the sky, silent and still. And then it landed. The ground shook gently as the ship touched down. It was smooth silver and shaped like a teardrop. No doors, no windows, no lights. It didn't look like anything made by human hands. The soldiers aimed their weapons. Tanks rolled into position. Drones hovered overhead. Everyone waited. A panel on the side of the ship opened with a soft hiss. A ramp slid out, touching the sand. Then a figure appeared. She looked almost human, but not quite. Her skin shimmered like polished metal. Her hair moved slowly as if floating in water. Her eyes were the strangest of all, deep, dark, and full of stars. She stepped down the ramp, calm and unafraid. No armor, no weapons, just a simple robe that seemed to glow in the moonlight. The soldiers held their breath. Then she spoke. "My name is Inari. I come in peace, and I choose Earth." Her voice was soft but clear, echoing through the desert. It wasn't broadcasted. It wasn't through speakers. Somehow, every human within range heard her inside their minds. She stood in front of the ship, waiting. Nobody moved. At the Pentagon, red lights flashed. Generals argued. Scientists demanded data. Politicians wanted answers. Who was she? What did she want? Was it a trick, a trap? The president ordered no attacks. Not yet, too risky, too unknown. Instead, a team was sent, a translator, a scientist, a military commander. They flew out by helicopter, fast and silent. When they landed, Inari was still there, still waiting, still calm. She greeted them by name before they introduced themselves. "I've studied you. All of you. For a long time," she said. "I know your languages, your history, your wars, your hopes." The scientist asked, "Why are you here?" She looked at the sky. "Because I ran. I escaped. I betrayed my people." Silence. The commander asked, "What people?" She turned to him. "The Confederation, a council of old powerful species. They rule most of the galaxy, not with war, but with control. Cold, silent, perfect control. They don't see humans as equals. They see you as unstable, wild, dangerous." The translator asked, "And you disagree?" Inari smiled softly. "You are flawed, yes, but you love without reason. You fight for each other. You feel deeply. That's rare. I saw what they planned for your planet. I refused. I fled. And now they will come." The team returned to base. Shaken, their report was sent to every major power in the world. Many thought it was a trick, others believed. But one thing was certain. This was not a hoax. The ship was real. The woman was not human, and she knew far too much to be ignored. Back in the desert, Inari sat quietly near her ship. She looked up at the stars, her eyes full of worry. She had made a choice, a dangerous one. And soon, the galaxy would answer. But for now, Earth had a visitor, a warning, and a chance. For 2 days, Inari stayed in the desert. She didn't move far from her ship. She didn't ask for food or shelter. She didn't seem tired or afraid, but she waited, patiently. Leaders across the world watched every second. Satellites followed her. Drones recorded every movement. The whole planet held its breath. Then she asked to speak to all of Earth. No country. No borders. Just the people. At first, they said no. Too risky. But when her voice echoed again, directly into the minds of those in the Pentagon, the Kremlin, and the United Nations, they changed their minds. They agreed. A global broadcast was set. The moment came. Across the planet, screens turned black. Then her face appeared, calm, glowing, eyes deep like space. She began to speak. "Humans of Earth, my name is Inari. I was born in the core worlds far beyond your stars. I served the Confederation all my life. I believed in them, until I saw the truth." Behind her, the sky seemed to open. A glowing orb floated above the desert, full of light and motion. It wasn't just a light, it was a memory. A projection, something far more advanced than any human technology. It showed planets, cities in the clouds, beings of all shapes and sizes, worlds beyond imagination. Then it showed something else. Factories, prisons, labs, aliens in cages, children taken from their homes, species forced to serve. Cultures erased. Her voice trembled now. This is what the Confederation does to planets they call unstable. Planets like yours. They don't destroy. They control, quietly, slowly, until nothing remains of what made you, you. The images changed again, and now they showed Earth, not today's Earth, Earth in flames, oceans boiling, cities empty, forests replaced by towers of metal, and above it all the mark of the Confederation, 3 silver stars in a black ring. Gasps spread across the world. People cried. Others shouted. Many didn't believe it. But it felt real. Too real. In a secret room under Washington, D.C., the president looked at his generals. "Is it possible?" he asked. The scientist in the room said only one word. "Yes," Inari ended her message. "I chose to run. To break the law of my people. To warn you. I know what I did. I know they will come for me. But I believe in you. You can be more than they ever expected. You can fight. You can rise." Then the screen went black. Around the world, the reactions were mixed. Some called her a hero. Others called her a liar. But deep down, people felt it. This wasn't fiction. This wasn't a trick. This was a warning. And now Earth had to decide: protect the alien fugitive, or give her up and stay quiet. Inside her ship, Inari sat alone. She looked at a small glowing crystal in her hand. It pulsed softly like a heartbeat. It was a signal beacon. If she turned it on, the Confederation would find her. She hadn't used it, but soon they'd find her anyway, and she knew. They wouldn't just come for her. They'd come for all of Earth, and she had only one hope: that humans were ready to fight back. The world was split. After Inari's message, some people were afraid. Others were angry. Many didn't know what to believe. But in a quiet base deep in the Colorado mountains, one person didn't doubt her. Her name was Dr. Elena Rios. She was a military scientist, expert in physics and advanced energy systems. She had seen the live scans of Inari's ship. The data didn't lie. No human technology could do what her ship did. And the memory projection? Pure energy formed into thought. Real. Impossible. Yet real. Elena watched the replay again. She paused on Inari's face. Calm, focused, honest. Then she looked at the frames showing Earth's future burned, empty, lost. She felt a chill. "If even half of this is true," she whispered, "we're not ready." She stood up and walked straight to the communication center. "Get me a direct channel to the Joint Chiefs," she said. "Now." A few hours later, Elena was in a secure room with 2 generals, a translator, and a diplomat. She explained her plan. "We don't have the tech to fight them," she said. "But we have something else, her. Inari is the only one who's ever betrayed the Confederation and lived. She knows how they work. We need to learn everything she knows. We need her to help us build something. Not a weapon, a shield. A way to protect this planet." The room was silent for a moment, then the lead general nodded. "Bring her in." They flew to Nevada that night. The air was cold. The desert quiet. Elena stepped out of the helicopter, wind in her face. She saw Inari sitting near her ship, still alone. For a moment she looked almost human, just a woman under the stars. Elena walked forward, slowly. "My name is Dr. Elena Rios," she said. "I believe you." Inari looked up. Her eyes seemed tired. "Belief is dangerous," she said. "It got me exiled." "It may have saved us," Elena replied. They sat together on a large rock facing the open sky. Inari took a long breath. "They're coming," she said. "Soon, maybe weeks, maybe days." "Then help us prepare," Elena said. "Not just to fight, to understand. If we are going to survive, we have to learn fast." Back at the base, they cleared an entire hangar for Inari. She walked through it slowly, touching the walls, listening to the hum of human machines. She smiled. "Crude," she said, But full of heart, she opened the first panel on her ship. Blue light filled the room. Let's begin. For the next 72 hours, Inari worked with Elena and a team of top scientists and engineers. She showed them how to read energy the way her people did. She explained gravitic fields, pulse signatures, cloaking harmonics. They barely understood half of it. But they tried. They learned. And little by little, something new took shape, not a weapon, a signal jammer, a kind of veil, a way to hide Earth's location from Confederation tracking. It wouldn't last forever, but it could buy them time. Elena watched the prototype spin in the test chamber. It flickered. Then, it worked. For the first time, Earth disappeared from its own satellite maps. The scientists cheered. Inari just closed her eyes and exhaled. They won't see you now, she said. Not for a little while. How long? Elena asked. A week, maybe 2. Then the veil will crack. Then we build faster, Elena said. That night, Inari stood alone outside the base. She looked up at the stars. One of them pulsed, a small red blink. A signal from far away. They were coming. She didn't have much time, but maybe, just maybe, they had a chance now. 3 days had passed since the veil was activated. Inari's technology kept Earth hidden. For now. In Colorado, the base worked nonstop. Engineers built new systems. Scientists ran tests. Soldiers trained for a war they couldn't imagine. But tension grew. Everyone knew it was only a matter of time before the Confederation found them, and that time was almost up. At 2:17 a.m., a low alert rang through the base. At first, it seemed like a glitch. One of the long-range telescopes picked up a faint object near Earth's orbit. Too small to be a ship, too slow to be a meteor, but it was moving, watching. Dr. Elena Rios sat in the control room, eyes locked on the screen. Enhance the image, she said. The blurry shape grew clearer, smooth, black, reflective, not human. That's a probe, Inari said from behind her. Scout class. It doesn't broadcast. It listens. Elena turned to her. Does it know we're here? Inari didn't blink. Not yet. But if it gets closer, the veil will fail. Can we stop it? If we destroy it, the Confederation will know something's wrong. If we let it scan, we're exposed either way. The room went silent. They had only minutes to decide. A small military team was called in. One pilot stepped forward. His name was Captain Noah Vance. Young, sharp, reckless, but loyal. He spoke clearly. I'll take a stealth drone. Get close. Hack it if I can. If not, I'll make sure it doesn't report back. Elena hesitated. That's a one-way mission if they detect you. Noah smiled. Better me than the whole planet. Inari walked up to him. She held out a small crystal, deep blue, pulsing with light. Take this, she said. It will mask your energy for 60 seconds. No more. After that, you'll be visible to every sensor in this system. 30 minutes later, Noah launched into the sky. The drone was silent, fast, and cold. He climbed higher and higher until he passed through the upper atmosphere. The Earth faded below, just a blue circle. Above him, the stars blinked, and one dark shape floated near the edge of space. The probe. It turned slowly, scanning, listening. Noah activated the crystal. His ship went dark. No lights. No sound, no heat. He moved close. 100 meters, 50. So target in range, he whispered. Initiating link. His fingers danced over the controls. The screen blinked. Data flowed in alien symbols, too fast to read. It's trying to connect to the hive, he said. I'm blocking it. But not for long. Then, a shrill alarm. I'm detected. The probe spun toward him, small weapons unfolding from its sides. Noah hit the trigger. One sharp pulse. The probe burst into pieces. No fire, just a flash of blue light, like a bubble popping in space. Target neutralized, he said. But I'm exposed. Back on Earth, the room erupted. Elena shouted, Get him out of there! But Inari's voice was quiet. It's too late. Above Earth, the stars began to shift. One by one, small points of light moved. Not stars. Ships, at least 4. Noah saw them first. They're here, he said calmly. Tell my family I flew higher than anyone. The signal cut. Elena stood frozen, staring at the last image of his drone. Then it vanished. Inari closed her eyes. They sent scouts, not a fleet. They're testing you. Elena turned to her. And what do we do now? Inari looked out the window. We show them we're not prey. That night, a message played across every military channel on Earth. Prepare all global defenses. Enemy presence confirmed in low orbit. Humanity is no longer alone, and no longer safe. The world had 7 days. 7 days before the veil failed. 7 days to become something more. The countdown had begun. 7 days. That's all Earth had before the veil collapsed and the Confederation saw everything. 7 days to prepare. 7 days to unite. And for once, the world moved fast. In every capital, leaders met behind closed doors. Flags didn't matter anymore. Borders didn't matter. It was no longer about countries. It was about survival. The United Global Response was formed in less than 48 hours. It had only one goal: protect Earth. Dr. Elena Rios was put in charge of scientific coordination. She was tired. She hadn't slept in nearly 2 days, but she moved with purpose. In the underground base in Colorado, screens glowed with blueprints, simulations, translations of alien data. Inari stood beside her, guiding where she could, teaching where humans didn't understand. We can't match their power, Elena said. But maybe we can surprise them. Inari nodded. Your strength is not in your weapons. It's in how fast you adapt. That's why I chose you. In a nearby hangar, workers swarmed over a new prototype. They called it Project Skyfire, a hybrid fighter, half human, half alien tech. Fast, silent, and unpredictable. It was risky, unstable. But it was all they had. Captain Noah Vance's name was painted on its side. The crew worked in silence when they saw it. Meanwhile, in orbit, the enemy moved closer. 4 scout ships floated just outside detection range. Black, silent, watching. They didn't attack, not yet. They were waiting for confirmation, waiting for the veil to fall. On day 3, the unexpected happened. A signal broke through, a human voice, cracked, weak but clear. This is Commander Raj Patel. ISS Echo, we've been watching them from above. They don't see us yet, but we see them. The room froze. The Echo was a lost station, thought destroyed in orbit years ago during a system failure. But Raj had stayed alive, hidden, monitoring. And now, his station had eyes on the enemy. I can feed you telemetry, he said, but I need backup power. Soon. Elena and Inari worked fast. They rerouted energy from weather satellites and sent a power burst to the ISS Echo. Raj's systems came alive again. Images appeared, clear, detailed scans of the Confederation scouts. It was the first true advantage humans had. They're mapping your planet, Inari explained. Studying your weapons, your patterns. We flipped the game, Elena said. Let's study them. On day 5, the first Skyfire pilot trained in the new ship. Her name was Lieutenant Hannah Lee. Calm, sharp, former test pilot. She had lost her brother in a border war years ago. Now she had something bigger to fight for. Noah flew blind, she told Elena. I won't. You won't be alone, Elena said. We're behind you. Inari gave her a small ring before takeoff. This belonged to someone I trusted, she said. It brought him courage. Maybe it will bring you the same. By day 6, the world began to change. Civilians helped build defenses. Universities shared labs with soldiers. Enemies became allies. For the first time in history, humans stood together. They still had fear, but they also had purpose, and that made them dangerous. On the night before the veil was set to fall, Elena and Inari stood outside the base looking at the stars. They're close now, Inari said. You'll see them soon. We're not ready, Elena whispered. No, Inari replied. But you're not alone anymore. The sky above pulsed with light, dim at first, then brighter. The veil was breaking. Earth's signal was now exposed. The Confederation would see them, would know, would come. And when they did, they would find something unexpected. Not a weak planet, but a planet that had changed in 7 days. A planet that had chosen to fight. The veil collapsed at 0614 UTC. All around the world, satellites flickered. Signals dropped, then returned, flooded with static. The Earth was visible again, to the Confederation, to their sensors, to their warships. Above the planet, 4 alien scout ships shifted formation, no longer passive. No longer waiting. Now, they were hunting, and Earth had just become a target. In Colorado, alarms rang. Dr. Elena Rios ran into the control room. Red lights flashed across every screen. "They're moving," a tech said. 2 ships adjusting orbit. "One heading straight for us." Inari entered behind her, calm but focused. "They've confirmed my presence. They're coming to take me back." "Or destroy you?" Elena asked. "Yes," Inari said quietly. "And anyone who protects me." At 0710 UTC, the scout ship entered the upper atmosphere over North America. It was silent. No engines, no flames. Just a black shape sliding through the sky like a falling shadow. It moved faster than any jet, more precise than any missile. The world watched on every screen. "They're not sending a message," Elena said. "They're sending a warning." But Earth was ready. At a hidden launch site in Alaska, Lieutenant Hannah Lee stood beside the Skyfire prototype. She looked up at the screen. The target was inbound. "Clear me for launch," she said. "You're going alone," Elena told her through comms. "Good," Hannah said. "Fewer people to bury if this goes wrong." The Skyfire engines hummed. Alien tech blended with human power. The ship was fast, light, and sharp, like a blade made of fire. Hannah launched into the sky, straight toward the incoming threat. The 2 ships met above the clouds. The alien scout was sleek, shaped like a manta ray, glowing with a soft red pulse. The Skyfire was smaller, faster. For a moment, they circled each other. Then the alien ship fired. A beam of blue light cut through the sky, grazing Hannah's wing.
"Shields holding," she said.
"Engaging." She rolled left, dodged a second beam, and fired back. The Skyfire's cannons hit hard. Sparks flew from the enemy ship's side, but it didn't fall. It turned sharply, moving with unnatural grace. "This thing learns fast," Hannah said. "It's adapting." Back at the base, Elena and Inari watched the dogfight in silence. "She won't survive a long fight," Inari said. "Your tech is too young, too raw." "Then we find a way to end it now," Elena replied. Inside the Skyfire, alarms blared. Hannah's systems were overheating. "Out of tricks here," she said. "Unless someone has a miracle ready." Inari stepped forward at the base and picked up the comm. "Hannah," she said calmly, "there's a weak point on the underbelly, but you have to fly underneath and flip." "That's suicide," Hannah answered. "Yes," Inari replied, "unless you make it count." Hannah took a breath, then she dove, straight down. The alien ship chased her, fast and focused. At the last second, Hannah pulled up, then flipped the Skyfire upside down, firing as she rose under the enemy's belly. One clean shot. The core glowed, then exploded. The alien ship broke apart in midair, fire and metal falling like rain. Hannah screamed with joy. "Target down. I repeat, target down." The world cheered. For the first time in history, humans had destroyed a Confederation ship. But Inari didn't smile. She looked at the stars. "Now they know," she said. "Know what?" Elena asked. "That you're not afraid," Inari replied. "And that makes you dangerous." 10 minutes later, new readings came in. The other 3 ships had changed course. They were no longer scanning. They were preparing for full assault, and deep in space, something bigger was coming. The wreckage of the fallen alien scout still burned in the mountains. Across the world, people celebrated. 1 ship down, 3 left, and for the first time, humanity had struck first and won, but the celebration didn't last. At 11:46 UTC, a strange signal broke through every frequency on Earth. Military radios, commercial broadcasts, even civilian phones. The message wasn't in a known language, it was a low hum at first. Then words, spoken in perfect English, a voice, cold, calm, controlled. "This is the Confederation. You have interfered with Galactic order. You have harbored a fugitive. You have killed a scout vessel in violation of observation protocols. You will surrender her. You Will submit to standard assimilation. You have 3 rotations to comply. Resistance will lead to full planetary correction. Then, the signal stopped just like that. In Colorado, silence filled the command room. Dr. Elena Rios looked around. Soldiers, scientists, tech teams, nobody spoke, they all heard it. 3 rotations, 3 days. Inari stood at the edge of the room, her face pale with guilt. "They're serious," she said. "This is the final warning. After this, they send something worse than scouts." "What happens during planetary correction?" Elena asked. Inari looked down. "You won't feel it. You won't have time. The planet becomes quiet, forever." The world needed answers. That night, Elena and Inari were summoned to Geneva for the first Global Emergency Council. Leaders from every major power attended, some in person, some by hologram. Tension filled the air. The president of the African Union spoke first. "We are being asked to give her up. If we do, maybe we survive. And if we don't?" asked the Prime Minister of Japan. "Then we fight a war we cannot win," said the Russian commander. Everyone turned to Elena. She didn't speak with power. She didn't raise her voice, but she spoke clearly. "They're not here because of Inari. They're here because of what she showed us, because we know now. If we give her up, we're not safe. We're slaves with our eyes closed. But if we fight, maybe we lose. Or maybe we do something no species has ever done before. We say no, and we mean it." For a long time, nobody spoke. Then someone stood. It was a young leader, President Miguel Santos of Brazil. "She chose us," he said. "Now we choose her." One by one, the room changed. A vote was taken. Earth would stand. Elena returned to Colorado with the official order. Protect Inari at all costs. But something wasn't right. Security teams noticed strange activity in the outer sections of the base. Unmarked devices. Hacked doors. Silent movement. A mole. Someone had let the signal in. Someone wanted Inari gone. At Aero 322 the next morning, Inari disappeared from her room. Elena sounded the alarm. Every corridor was searched. Then came the call from the south gate. Unauthorized vehicle. Leaving fast. Elena jumped into the command vehicle and followed the signal. They caught up with the car in the desert, near the edge of the restricted zone. Inside, 2 guards, dead, and Inari, tied, but alive. She looked up as Elena opened the door. "They weren't human," she whispered. "They wore your faces, but they weren't yours." Elena checked the guards. Their skin was strange, too smooth, too cold. Then one of them twitched. His face changed shape just for a moment. "Shapeshifters," Elena muttered. "They're already here." That night, security tripled. Inari was moved to a deep vault under the base, but now they knew. The Confederation wasn't just coming from the sky. They were already on the ground. Watching, planning, waiting for the order to strike, and the countdown had begun. The sky cracked open at dawn. It wasn't thunder. It wasn't weather. It was them. 3 massive ships entered Earth's atmosphere, one over North America, one over Asia, one over the Southern Ocean. They didn't fire, they didn't speak, they just floated, watching, waiting, and the world went silent. In Colorado, the command center turned red. "This isn't a scout team," Elena said. "This is Phase 1, Inari stood beside her, calm, but her eyes told the truth. This was the beginning of the end. "These are harvest vessels," she said. "They won't destroy the cities. They'll take them." "Take them?" Elena asked. "Yes, whole." On satellite feeds, people across Earth watched in horror. The ship over Tokyo lowered a beam of violet light. It struck a part of the city, then buildings, roads, and people began to float as if gravity no longer mattered. Within seconds, an entire block lifted into the air, crumbling upward. Gone, no explosion, no fire, just silence. Then it moved to the next and the next. "We have to strike now," Elena said, but the generals hesitated. "We hit them, we start a war we can't finish," one of them said. "We don't hit them," Elena snapped, "and there's no planet left to finish anything." Back underground, Inari activated her crystal map. A glowing sphere formed in the air, showing the alien ships in orbit. "They have 3 control nodes," she said. "If you disable them, the harvest systems fail." "How do we reach them?" Elena asked. "They're on the underside, guarded. but not invincible. Skyfire was prepped in record time. Lieutenant Hannah Lee had been waiting. She suited up, fast and silent. This wasn't just a flight. This was a mission Earth might not survive. 3 nodes, Elena said through the comms. Hit one, then pull back. We'll analyze before you go for the others. Copy that, Hannah replied. If I don't come back, then I'm coming to get you, Elena interrupted. As Skyfire rose into the air, cities burned below, whole neighborhoods lifted into the sky. People ran, but there was nowhere to hide. The alien ships didn't chase, they didn't defend, they just continued their Cold Mechanical. Hannah flew under the first ship, the one over the Pacific. It was larger than any human structure. It looked like a floating city made of black stone and blue flame. I see the node, she said. Locked in, going in hot. She dodged a wave of plasma fire. Her ship shook, but she held firm. She fired. Direct hit. The node burst in a flash of light. Suddenly, the ship above it stopped moving. Its beam flickered, then died. One city was saved, but 2 others still burned. Nice shot, Elena said. Get back now, but Hannah didn't respond. Hannah, do you copy? Silence, then static, then, I'm okay. Took a hit. Engines damaged. I'll glide back. At the base, Elena turned to Inari. We have the plan. We can hit the rest. Inari shook her head. They won't let you. You've proven yourselves now. The Confederation will escalate. Then we escalate first, Elena said. Around the world, human forces launched coordinated attacks. In France, fighter jets soared toward the second vessel. In India, experimental railguns fired at the third. For the first time, humanity struck as one force, and it worked. Both ships were hit, both nodes destroyed, and the harvest stopped. Just like that. The skies cleared. The beams vanished. The people cheered, but Inari didn't smile. She looked at the stars, then whispered, Now they send the Judicator. Elena turned to her. What's that? Inari closed her eyes. Not a ship. Not a fleet. A decision, one single being, sent to end civilizations that break the rules. And what does it do? It watches, judges, and then erases. High above Earth, something dark moved beyond the moon. One shape, one spark of power, and it was headed straight for Earth. It appeared just past the moon. No engines, no weapons, just a single shape, tall and black, standing on a smooth disk of light. A man, or something like a man. He had no face, no eyes, only a thin, silver line across the front of his head, like a scar that never healed. He didn't speak, but every screen on Earth lit up, every signal cut out, and the same words appeared across every device, in every language. Judicator Unit 7 activated. Planet 9143 under review. Interference confirmed. Sentence pending. In the Colorado base, Inari fell silent. Elena watched her. Is that what you meant? Inari nodded, eyes fixed on the screen. He doesn't come to talk. He comes to witness, to pass judgment. And once he does, it's done. Done how? He turns off your sun. The Judicator reached low orbit within an hour. He stood motionless on a floating platform above the Earth. He didn't attack. He didn't move. But weather changed around him. Magnetic fields, bent satellites dropped from the sky. The planet felt him. Can he be stopped? Elena asked. No, Inari said. But he can be spoken to. You said he doesn't talk. Not with words. Inari walked toward the hangar. I'm going up. The team protested. The generals ordered her to stay. But Elena knew this was the moment. Inari had feared since the beginning. Not the ships, not the scouts, but him, the last judge, the one who decides if a species gets to live or vanish without a trace. Skyfire was too damaged to fly. So they gave her an old shuttle, rewired with her own tech. It was slow. But enough. Inari launched alone, rising through the clouds, into the black sky, toward him. Elena watched the feed. The Judicator stood still as stone. Then, as Inari's shuttle approached, he turned, not fully, just his head, like he was listening, like he had been waiting for her. Inside the shuttle, Inari opened a glowing case. Inside, A sphere of white light, the memory core, a copy of everything she had seen, the crimes of the Confederation, the hope of humanity, the truth. She held it out, hands shaking. The judicator didn't move, but the sphere floated from her hands. It hovered in the air, then split open. Light poured out. Visions, memories, recordings, everything, and the judicator stood silent as it passed through him, watching, absorbing, judging. For a full hour, Earth held its breath, no movement, no words, no violence, just one ancient being, deciding the fate of 8 billion lives. Then the judicator raised one hand. He pointed to Earth. Elena gasped. "What does that mean?" she asked. Enari's voice came through the radio, quiet. "He's not ending you. He's marking you. You've been recognized." All over the world, the sky shimmered. Not lightning, not fire, but a thin golden glow like a second atmosphere. Then, just as silently as he came, the judicator vanished, gone, no explosion, no trail, just absence. The signal returned, and a final message appeared. Judicator complete. Planet 9143 independent. No further action required. Inari's shuttle landed that night. The base was silent as she stepped out. No applause, no cheers, just stunned faces and tears. She looked at Elena. "You did it," Elena said. "No," Inari replied. "You did. I just gave him the truth. You gave him a reason to believe it." That night across Earth, cities lit candles, not to mourn, to remember. And for the first time in history, the planet was truly free. Not because it had won a war, but because it had passed a test. 1 week after the judicator disappeared, the skies above Earth were clear again. No ships, no threats, no harvest beams, just clouds. Sunlight, peace. For the first time in living memory, the world felt quiet. The Confederation never sent another message. No apologies, no warnings, just silence. That silence was their answer. They had been challenged, and they had backed away. In Colorado, the base began to shut down. The war rooms emptied. The hangars were cleaned, but something had changed. Something deep and permanent. The world didn't go back to the way it was. It moved forward. Together, a new alliance was born. The United Earth Accord. One council, one vote, one voice. They didn't agree on everything, but they agreed on one thing. Never again would they face the stars alone. Inari didn't stay. She couldn't. Her presence was too risky, too powerful, too political. But before she left, she gave Elena a gift, a small silver orb no larger than a coin. "This will open when you're ready," she said. "It holds what your people will need to go further." Elena held it in both hands, her voice soft. "Will we see you again?" Inari smiled, truly smiled for the first time. "You're not the end of the story, Elena. You're the beginning of it." Then she walked up the ramp of her ship and was gone. Years passed. Humans returned to the stars, not with fear, but with wonder. They built a station in orbit, then a colony on the moon, then something more, and the legends began to spread. That once, an alien had come to Earth not to conquer it, but to save it, and that when the stars grew dark again, humanity would not run, it would rise. Back on Earth, in a small office near the base of a mountain, Dr. Elena Rios placed the silver orb on her desk. She had never opened it, not yet. But today, something felt different. The wind was still. The sky was clear. She pressed her thumb against it. The orb glowed, opened. Inside, a single word appeared in the air, written in pure light. "Welcome. The end." Years had passed since the sky burned, since the harvest ships fell, since the judicator came and left. People still remembered it. Some tried to forget. Others never could. But life moved forward. The cities rebuilt. The nations healed. The stars? They waited. In a quiet classroom near what was once NORAD Command, a young boy raised his hand. "Miss Olin, is the story of Inari real?" The teacher smiled. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she walked to the window. Outside, the sky stretched wide, clean, open, full of possibilities. Then she looked back at the children. "What do you think?" she asked. The boy shrugged. "I think it sounds like a movie, but my dad says his uncle flew in the Skyfire." The class laughed, but Miss Olin didn't. She turned and tapped the small crystal she wore around her neck. The class went quiet. The crystal glowed faintly. "Sometimes the stories that feel too big to be true," she said, "are the ones that shape us most." Somewhere far above, in Earth's outer orbit, a small satellite blinked awake, not military, not commercial, but something different inside a seed, not of a plant, of a language, of a map, of a message. One word pulsed across its core: begin. Dr. Elena Rios was older now. She walked slower, spoke less, but her mind was sharper than ever. And every morning she sat by her window with one thing on her table: the silver orb. It never stopped glowing after the day it opened. Every year it whispered new information. New codes, new math, new ways to understand what the stars were hiding. She wasn't building weapons anymore. She was building bridges, because something inside her had changed. She didn't fear the stars. She was learning how to talk to them. People still debated what had happened. Some said the judicator never existed, that the footage was doctored, that Inari was a trick. Others believed she was an angel, sent not just to warn us, but to wake us. The truth? It didn't need agreement, because the results were real. Earth had changed, not because of a weapon, but because of a choice. In a desert, where Inari first landed, a monument stood. No statues, no flags, just a single sentence carved into a black stone. She chose us. So we chose to be worthy. People came from all over to see it, not to take selfies, but to stand in silence, to remember the moment when, just for a breath in time, humanity grew up, somewhere in deep space. In a quiet sector with no suns and no maps, a small ship floated. It was old now, scratched, repaired 1,000 times. Inside, Inari sat alone, watching, waiting, not hiding anymore, just observing. She had left Earth not because she gave up, but because she believed in what came next. The Confederation never came back, not because of fear, but because of doubt, because one planet, in one moment, had done something no one else had dared. They looked power in the eye and didn't blink. She received transmissions now and then, messages from Earth, stories, poems, recordings of children saying thank you in different languages. It made her smile every time. This was her proof, not that humanity was perfect, but that they were learning. And that was enough. Back on Earth, a small team stood in front of a new vessel, the first interstellar Explorer-class ship, fully functional, human-built. But not just human-inspired, a blend of everything Inari gave them. Everything they reverse-engineered, everything they discovered together. On the side of the ship, painted in bright white letters, it read, Vance 1, named after the first man who gave his life in space defending Earth, Captain Noah Vance. He never came back. But his legacy flew now, straight into the unknown. The launch was quiet, no massive crowds, no live broadcast, just a message sent out across the stars. We are not here to conquer. We are not here to control. We are here to listen. We are here to learn. And if you're out there, we remember what it was like to be small. So we won't judge you for being afraid. We'll be patient, because someone was patient with us. And it changed everything. The Vance 1 disappeared into light, gone in seconds. The Earth was quiet again. But the silence wasn't empty anymore. It was filled with meaning. We weren't chosen because we were ready. We were chosen because we still had a soul, because we still asked questions, because we still cared, and in the end, that was enough. She fled across the stars and chose us. We rose across the sky and chose to be better.